In this scene from The Odd Couple, Oscar imitates a basketball hoop, while Felix seems to be preparing for an exciting career with the Harlem Globetrotters. But let's look at this scene again using Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind. On repeat viewing, one may very well ask this important question. What the heck is Alfred Hitchcock doing on an episode of The Odd Couple? Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. In this scene from I Love Lucy, Lucy and Ethel play a rare club date at the Tropicana, a performance that inevitably leads to embarrassment and humiliation. But let's look at this again using Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind. On second viewing, it's obvious that Lucy deliberately sabotages the act by untying her bow. Does Lucy subconsciously have a fear of success, or is she just an exhibitionist? Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. Here is a typical scene of slapstick hijinks from I Dream of Jeannie. Major Healy enters a phone booth in the park. Moments later, Major Nelson is pulled through the park by a pair of hyperactive dogs, leading to this calamity. But let's look at that shot again with Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind. On repeat viewing, one begins to suspect that might not really be Major Healy in the phone booth after all. Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. Here are three classic TV scenes which don't appear to have anything in common. But let's look at them again with Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind. On repeated viewing, it appears that the same bearded gentleman is in three separate TV series. Is this the hardest working extra in Hollywood? No, it's James L. Brooks, creator of The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Taxi, and Rhoda, and therefore the highest paid extra in Hollywood. Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. Why is Rob Petrie smiling when he's supposed to be upset? Let's find out with Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind. In this scene from the Dick Van Dyke Show, Rob recognizes a song he composed playing on the radio, so he calls up the radio station. But how does he know the correct number? Shouldn't he have looked up the number before he dialed it?
Right.
So that's why he's smiling. Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. Here is a typical scene from an early episode of The Munsters.
Herman, are you ready?
Yes, it looks like we're in for some well-crafted comedy with one of television's weirdest families. But wait a second, let's use Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind to look at this again. On repeat viewing, you can see someone walking through the set, completely shattering the realism the director was striving to achieve. Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. It looks like another routine day in the WJM newsroom for Mary Richards and Ted Baxter. But let's look at this scene again with Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind. On repeat viewing, it seems that Ted Baxter's hand is quicker than the eye when he magically transforms a teacup into a personalized coffee mug, making this a very paranormal episode of The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. In this scene from I Dream of Jeannie, Don Rickles plays a tough physical fitness instructor. He leaves the room in order to retrieve some special workout gear for Major Nelson and Major Healy. But let's look at this again using Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind. On repeat viewing, one can see that Rickles hasn't gone anywhere. This no-talent hockey puck is actually standing in plain view waiting for his cue to return. Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. It's another typical domestic scene from the Dick Van Dyke Show. Here is Rob Petrie enjoying a suburban breakfast with his lovely family. But wait, did you see that? Let's look at this again using Nick at Nite's classic TV Rewind. On repeated viewing, Nick at Nite technicians have positively established that this unidentified flying particle is in fact oatmeal. Classic TV Rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. In this scene from Bewitched, Samantha wreaks magical vengeance on a snoopy private detective, causing his chandelier to come crashing down on his coffee table. But let's look at this scene again using Nick at Nite's classic TV rewind. On second viewing, it appears that the coffee table anticipates its destruction, splitting in half just before the chandelier makes contact. Is the coffee table psychic, or does it just have bad comic timing? Classic TV rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite. In this famous scene from I Love Lucy, a decidedly tipsy Lucy Ricardo wanders onto the set of a live TV commercial several minutes before she's supposed to. But let's view this again using Nick at Nite's classic TV rewind. If you look closely, you can see that the backstage area is actually Lucy's living room, which leads one to suspect that I Love Lucy may in fact be a work of fiction. Classic TV rewinds, a second look at shows that are always worth a second look on Nick at Nite.